Hello, all of you sovereign beings of light. Welcome to another episode. Today, I want to talk about a message that's been coming through in bits and pieces the last couple of days. It's all about what's happening on the planet right now and what to expect over the next few weeks, specifically interesting enough, Halloween. And so this message started coming through a few days ago about Halloween, a little bit more about this morning. Before I bring that message in for all of you, I just want to let you know that I have a new program starting called Ascension Academy. I've had this idea for a while and I'm finally getting the fine-tuning the details of what it looks like. And I'm letting you know about this ahead of time. It's actually not available yet. I'm trying to get my web designer to set it up for me, but I can't get them to respond. So I just might have to dive in and do some web developing myself. Fortunately, I have a techie background, so I can set it up myself if I have to. But I really honestly prefer for someone else to do it because it isn't the highest and best use of my time. And if I can't get somebody to do it, I will jump on there and do it myself. So my intent is for this Ascension Academy to start November 1st. This is a class that I want to do, or not really so much a class or a program, but yes, a weekly gathering where I have a teaching and then I open up the room to Q&A. So it's kind of a combination between teaching and creating community. So everybody who's there and participates can get to know each other a little bit and create a little bit of a camaraderie. And what I really would love to do is have class available on a sliding scale so that whatever it is that you find most resonates with you is what you choose your monthly tuition to be. I think it's really important to honor everyone where they are. And so I'm going to figure out how to set that up so that it works for everyone. Okay, that said, that's something really exciting to look forward to. My Transcendence class, it's a 9-week course that just started a few days ago. And I have, one-on-one sessions that I do once in a while if people are looking for more spiritual guidance one-on-one, I offer that. Oh, and before I forget, I would love for you to send me your questions. If you have questions that you want me to answer in future shows, I'm always looking for whatever it is that people want answers to. Between Fearless and Free TV and my Spirit Lift Sundays that I'm doing on Infinite TV, it's a great way for me to tune in to Spirit's guidance, to Love's guidance, and Source guidance, whatever term works best for you, and find out what the answers are that is best for all of humanity and all life on Earth. That is my dedication. And I always set intentions that what comes through me is the highest and greatest good for all life on Earth. Okay, so now let's get to this message that's been coming through lately. So I started getting a message a few days ago that this year Halloween is going to be different than any other Halloween. It's basically the last time we will be experiencing Halloween in its present form. So that came in a couple of days ago, and apparently after this flash that I understand is coming some point in 2023, it isn't, or I don't even know if it's a flash, but there is going to be an event that changes the human experience. Some say that it's a flash. That's my impression of what it's going to be as well. And it isn't that it's a solar flash in the way that we would see it. Understand that these are gamma waves and they are light waves that our eyes can't see, but it still changed the landscape of Earth. It's just a different form of energy that our eyes can't see, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So these light waves have been coming in since, my understanding, since 2015. We call them G waves, God, Goddess, creation waves, and what I now know are gamma waves that are changing the footprint of humanity. It's actually changing us from carbon to crystalline and changing the Earth from carbon to crystalline. And these light waves are actually what's making it possible for us to see the darkness. And like I said, we can't see them with our physical eyes, but what we know they're real because they are changing our perception to a lighter way of seeing and experiencing the human experience. So I'm going to read a message that came through a couple of days ago, and then I will go into explaining what this means, because this was a really, really interesting message that I'd never heard anything like this. So here goes. The present focus for Team Light is removing the non-player characters and Black Aura players from the Earth game. The technology created to track every player and used by Team Dark is also used by Team Light to track them. Every player leaves an energetic imprint, and it's easy to spot each player by the imprint they leave. Dark players have a black energy signature with no warmth, and non-players leave an energy outline. They have no souls, and the electromagnetic heart mechanism only pumps blood and electricity. Again, the dark plan is backfiring. The non-player characters, NPCs, are the most susceptible to the shots, 5G and gamma waves, as they cause electromagnetic interference. It's overloading their framework, and they are leaving by what is referred to as sudden adult death syndrome. Others will simply disappear as they are only an illusion, a holographic image. The energy imprint is being sucked up a vacuum hose. It's an interesting visual I got there. NPCs are characters filling in spots to create more anger, sadness, and division. They are AI, and without souls, there is no need for redemption into the light. So what they really mean by AI, by artificial intelligence, is that they are intelligent, but it doesn't have any connection to divine intelligence. It isn't necessarily that they're machines, it's an artificial intelligence. So without souls, there's no need for redemption into the light. These are among the lower third that will not ascend because they don't have a real heart connected to the divine. Those beings who do have souls and not ascending at this time will be given the choice to return in a new avatar and continue up the ascension spiral, continue learning on another game field, or stay in the presence of the loving. The realm of Earth is being cleaned up so that all that remains are warm bodies with light hearts and colorful auras. So this is a continuation that came in yesterday, and this is about the prosperity programs. The capacity now to see an individual's energy and track their movements also makes it easier to determine who receives the new money, which is coded at unconditional love frequency, to ensure it never again ends up in the hands of fear and darkness. If an individual uses money for greed and control, it will be taken from them. So what I was being shown is that this technology that's been made available for tracking and tracing a person's energy field can determine whether a person is in alignment for receiving these prosperity programs that are going to be made available for humanity. And even some who, sure, they talk the talk about spirituality and love, but if their resonance in their heart doesn't match the words they're using, the technology has the ability to tell if a person is in integrity with their words or not. So if you're talking all love and light and peace and gratitude, but your inner resonance is not that this technology can now determine if you are the love that you say you are. And another message that came in this morning, again, was going back to Halloween. And what I was being shown, which I find really, really interesting, that this is the last Halloween where the dark ones will be allowed to come out and play. So Halloween, as we know, is a celebration of the dark. It is when all of the dark souls on earth are allowed to come to the surface and play their tricks on humanity and do some really, really dirty deeds. And I won't get into details, but some of you know what I'm talking about. And so for the last few years, one of the ascended masters I've been working with is Lord Ezekiel. And I don't know if you've seen this message before, but I talked about he came in on February 18th of 2020 with his time-space machine. Basically, it's a spaceship that has a holodeck on it. And then this holodeck is made to look exactly like the environment these dark beings have been living in. And so they have been beaming these dark beings up out of the underground cities for the last 2 years. My understanding is that these cities have been cleaned up. The dragons were actually held captive, and they helped to clean up the tunnels after the beings were all removed. So the dark beings have been removed, as have the other human captives who have been kept down there. I won't get too much into that. It's not part of my purpose to expose the darkness. My purpose is to bring the light so the darkness no longer exists. And so what I was being shown this morning is that this technology that the dark side has created in order to track human beings and see where they're all up to is also being used by the light to be able to track where the dark beings are. And so what's going to happen this Halloween is that all of these dark beings, when they come out to do what it is they do for Halloween, it's going to be really, really easy to locate them and remove them from the planet or from the human experience. And because of their energetic imprints and the chemical experiment that a lot of them participated in makes it really easy to recognize their energy fields. And so this is going to be used as a time to kind of beam them up, beam them out of the human experience. And with regard to the non-player characters, remember, these are just placeholders. They're non-soul beings, which was really fascinating for me because I had never really tuned into that before. And if you imagine Earth, the human experience. So we are playing a video game. It's the best way to put it. It is the most complex video game ever written. And it is a virtual reality that we're living in. I know it's hard to understand because it feels so physically real, but that is the way energy is. Energy compounds itself into what appears to be form. And it is a virtual reality game that we are playing, and we're up-leveling into a new level of the game. The name of this game is The Great Human Experiment. And it is everything that's ever happened in every other life form is being used to experiment here to see what it looks like as the collective of souls chose to experience the dark side of the contrast to learn through and see if we could find our light within that darkness. And so we are elevating, for example, if you imagine we're finished with level 3 of the game and now we're moving to level 4 and level 5 of the game. That's an easy way of putting it. And playing this game with us are a lot of non-player characters. I know that term because my daughter is a gamer. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know what that means. So these NPCs are human avatars. They're human vessels. They just don't have a soul in them. And so, of course, they're not going to be ascending because they don't have a soul. So I tuned in and asked this morning about those. What about these non-player characters? They're perfectly good avatars. Will they be receiving souls? So one of the things that I've been shown is that there are a lot of benevolent ETs who are waiting for human vessels to descend into when the timing is perfect. And we, of course, don't know what that divine timing looks like, but when the timing is perfect, they will be descending into human avatars. Now, some of these I understand are human souls that will be leaving their bodies because they've decided they just don't want to be here. And others, my understanding is that these non-player characters will be able to have benevolent souls drop down into them. Some of them will, these non-player characters will just no longer be playing the game, and some of them will have souls drop down into them. So it's going to be really, really interesting when all of this takes place. But the main thing I wanted to share with you is how this technology that's been created by the dark side to track human beings, and we know, of course, that this technology has been upgrading over the past couple of years with the cell phones and the tracking abilities, and Google tracks everything we do, Facebook tracks everything we do. All of the internet essentially was created to track what human beings are up to and what our relationships are. And remember, technology is neither good nor bad because it just depends on who's using it. So technology might have been created by the dark side, but the light side uses it on behalf of the light. Remember, all this technology we have, even the camera I'm using right now, allows us to be able to connect and communicate with each other. And that is a beautiful thing. And this technology that's been created to track human beings and recognize our energy imprint is being used by the light to be able to track and recognize the energy imprint of those who are working for the dark. That is basically my message for today. I hope you found that really interesting, and that, yeah, this Halloween is the last dark, dismal celebration of the contrast that our planet will be experiencing. We may even be calling it a new name starting next year, as a lot of our holy days or holidays are going to be transmuted from their present experience into light-based holidays that really are holy days. Oh, and before I forget, the other thing I was being shown is how we are divine intervention. We are the divine intervention we seek, and we are divine intervention in process. So when enough of us lift up our voices and ask those who are assisting us, all of the angels, all of the light beings are there assisting us, and many of them looking for human avatars to descend into, the more of us who ask for this to take place, the more of us who ask for this divine intervention to take place, the more of us who ask for those who are working on behalf of the dark to be removed from our human experience, the sooner and quicker that will occur. And the most important thing is that you always stay in the loving while asking for this. Stay out of judgment and anger and againstness toward any of it. Remember that every being that exists in the universe is equally loved, unconditionally loved by Mother, Father, Creator. And they love us all equally, regardless of who we are and the choices that we make. And so the more we can raise our resonance up to be in that same unconditionally loving, and ask from the space of unconditional love for these dark beings to be removed from the great human experience, the more that will occur. Our voices create reality. Our thoughts create reality. And those who are assisting us cannot interfere with our human experience. We need to ask for their assistance. So let's lift up our voices and ask for this to take place. And when enough of us do, it will become our reality. That is my message for today. As always, remember to hold your light so high, others can't help but see their own light. Our own light, our own resonance begins to spark the light within the hearts of others. And as they do, they begin to wake up to their own possibility. Remember, we are creating a world of love, peace, hope, freedom, prosperity, and beauty for all life on earth. And as always, get bold, be fearless, and live free.